Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode on Digital Brilliance 2024. Today, I'm going to talk about the most important thing. We made a analytic report of 2023. We also made a blueprint, start of a blueprint of 2024. By now, each one of you definitely know what you did in 2023 and what you want to do in 2024. It's very important, like I've been saying in each of my videos, that we stay focused towards the goal. And I'm going to repeat it in every video that I have coming up here. Because I also want to be focused to say that this is the most important thing. Now I'm sure you have made up your plans, you have things in mind, and in 1 week, you've tried to discuss your plan. Some of you must have tried talking this to people in the similar industry. Some of you must have tried to do this with people who are not from your industry. Some of you must have tried doing this with your team members. And you've got multiple explanations, hopes, directions, guidance, advices, and suggestions. But let me ask you one thing. What made you write your goal? There was one thing that made you write your goal is what you desire out of your plan. Who made the brand? It was you who decided to make this brand. It's you who knows what your brand needs. Let's take an example like we always do. There are kids on the road and we want them to get the best of the educations. We see somebody's kid and we think, oh, the parents need to do this to make this kid better, the parents need to do that to make this kid look better or behave well. Do you really know what are the parents doing actually to make the kid behave? So it's very simple to explain, advise, suggest people, but the parents know what their kid requires. And I'm sure each parent is doing the best for their kid. So let's not take anything out of the advices that we received, though there are some things that you can take them as suggestions. You can keep them written on the piece of paper, so in situations, if you land close to the directions that somebody's guided you, you are well prepared of these consequences that will come for the decision you've taken. But today, we have to be sure that we are not changing the goal. In case you've already made up your mind to change your goals, let that be the fresh goal. But let's not change that again and again. I know I've been stretching a lot on this and I've been saying this in every videos. The only reason I'm trying to say this is if you really want to be successful, if you really want to see a better result, you have to remember that this has to be your first mantra. Your goal cannot change. So let's say, what could be the goals you've come up with? The most common goal is having the maximum traffic on your website. And this should be one of the best goals because your website is nothing else but your online store. It's a store that can reach people. It's a platform that will help you to connect with people. It's your own domain. It's your own space. It's not owned by Mark Zuckerberg. It's not owned by Google. It's not owned by X. It's not owned by Y. It's owned by you. So whatever you do on your website, you have the right to do the changes. You have the right to attract and you have the right to convince people with the kind of information you want to put in. So whoever has taken their goals to be the website traffic, you've done a great job. So now, if your goal is website trafficking, you have to understand there are a few elements. As a businessman, it's not your job to make a website. It's your job to get your website done. It's your job to ask other people what do they think about your website. It's your job to see to it that you are providing enough information through your website to your visitors. It's your job that you're changing the content as and when required on your website. Imagine you have a store and you do not change the display window of the store for more than a year. What's going to happen? People moving outside the store are going to think this place is not doing so great. It doesn't have new trends. It doesn't have new things. The same thought is what people have when they see your website unchanged for a long period of time. It's very important to bring attention on your website. It's very important to sustain the attention on your website. So, if your goal was attracting traffic to the website, bingo, you've got it. But how are you going to do it? You have made your micro task. I hope your micro task includes SEO building. I hope your micro task includes keyword ranking. And I hope your micro task includes blog writing. Every episode, every event, every activity that you do should be telecasted on your website, should be routed through your website. If you want to give away any information, it should go to your website. Your team should be well equipped and capable to use your website as the source of data forwarding and data collection. If you're not able to do so, you need to take help from people who can help you do this. If you do not want to increase the traffic organically, you will never get an audience outside it. Now, what are the benefits of doing so? The first benefit of getting the attention on a website is you have the right to retarget them when you launch something new. Let me give you an example. I am a clinic and I am doing X treatments. If I have a patient who's consulting with me and I have a good blog written about the treatment, I just have to explain them and make sure that the blog is sent to my patient through my colleagues. At the time when they read the blog, they're just not reading the blog, they're going through my website, they're seeing other pages, they're seeing my other achievements, they're seeing success stories, they're seeing FAQs which are getting sorted. It is helping them to be sure to do business with me, to believe in me. Every information can be communicated through a portal or website. It's very important that you use your website in your daily activity. So if your goal was not about tracking how much is your website being used, that should be the first goal. You need to have a monthly meeting with your social media team to ask them and check with them about the Google Analytics of your website. Which page was scanned the most? Which page was shared the most? Which page had the maximum watch time? Now this is all about those who decided to have the website traffic. What about the ones who decided that I want more social media engagement? It's not wrong to have a good social media engagement. It may depend the product or the brand or the service that you're offering is better on a social media platform. But I haven't come across any business till date which does not need a website. So great, if you have your plans to be having a better social media page, good, but I would suggest think twice, do you really need a website? Maybe not your goal for the year, but do you need one? So let's come to the point, if I have a social media page and I want to increase the engagement of my page. By now you know what kind of content drives your audience. What kind of engagement are you going to do to sustain your audiences? What kind of engagement do your page does with your audiences? When was the last time when your page communicated to the pages of your audiences? When did you like, share and comment on your audience pages? It is very important when you expect people to do it on your page, you do the same for them. So if you have a social media page and you have somebody replying back to your comments and liking your comments, you also have to go back to their pages and do some engagements. This is not going to make them feel good. This is going to make them connect with you better. This is going to make their friends, their families understand that there is a brand like you who does reverse communications. What are the steps that you can do rather than just doing this? Like we said, you can make your website used for sharing information. You can do the same with your social media platforms. You can use them for sharing informations. You can use them for sharing inputs. There could be a great post that you post which is for education awareness. There could be a great post that you communicate about something that people are not aware. There could be anything that you want to communicate on. Your page need not be saying about come and get services done by us, but your page needs to brand and promote the services that you offer. There has to be some humor on your page, because let me tell you, a social media engagement is only higher when you have light head informations. People don't go on Instagram Reels to get stressed. They go there to relieve their stress. It's very important that you communicate your information in a way that they like to listen to it. So if your attention was social media engagement, you need to have a bucket about educational post, educational information, entertainment post, entertainment informations, engagement post, engagement informations. It is very important that you segregate according to this. I'm sure there are few people who decided to choose branding as their goal. Now they are one of the smarter box, because if I decide branding as my opinion, it could be website and social media both. It's very important to understand you cannot brand with one platform. You need to do your branding with each and every platform that's available in the market. Including that, you also need to do offline activities, which are very important. In today's world, we manage so many businesses, but we tell each one of them that it's very important for you to do things offline, like arranging small events at their places, like doing some medical camps, doing some educational literatures, talking about things, attending events, being social, doing some causes, because it's very important that your brand is communicated, that your brand is felt, and your brand is experienced by more people. If you take in branding as your goal, you have to remember to brand it from every perspective. A person who comes to know about you should have an experience of your brand like he never had an experience like this with any other brands. A person who is utilizing your product, services, or interacting with your brand for any decision making has an experience like he never had with any other brands. It's always important to remember that people who remember your brand have made your brand achieve something. In branding, you cannot see the number of sales that you have today. You cannot see the number of conversions that you have today, but you definitely can see a bright and strong future tomorrow. If you have 20 people knowing about your brand, you definitely have 200 references coming to you in a short span. I have a clear notice to people who have listened to this statement of mine. It's not just important to make people know about your brand. It's important to recall them about your brand regular intervals. You do not have to just make them know your brand and you disappear. If people know your brand, you need to keep on branding so they remember you. Some businesses do not happen over a mere of time. Every business may not be spontaneous. Businesses happen over relationships. Businesses happen over the kind of interaction the brand and the consumer has. So if your brand needs the branding, it's interacting, communicating for a long term and not just short term. Running an ad is a great idea for branding, but running an ad and saying, book your appointment is not a great branding. Be purely sales. The last ad that you ran which said book an appointment is not branding. The last ad when you ran which had no message apart of selling but an information which helps someone is purely a part of branding. There are many brands who have examples set to just communicate the message in the market. They may never come up to tell you buy from me or consult with me, but they definitely make you understand that they know the market better than anyone else. That makes you go towards the brand to purchase them. So it's very important that you know your branding, your goals, and your set. Now for the people who decided to sell product and services in this year, it's very important that you make your plans on sales. But if you haven't done branding for your brand, if you haven't had attention on your websites, the sales are going to be very challenging. It's not so easy to go and buy something immediately without knowing about them. So in case you've done your branding, if you've done your website trafficking, if you've done your social media, your goals are very well set. In case you've not done it, you will have to consider rest of the things to achieve your goal of sales. Selling a product online is the most important thing to remember. While selling a product online, the most important thing to remember is the connection of your brand with your client, the longevity that your client has with your brand. The most important thing is the trust. We have so much of scam happening around that sometimes online trading is not so safe. And doing it for the first time, everybody has a second thought, including you and me, who never trade with a brand that just popped up. So it's very important to remember that if you want to sell your product or services, you need to be available, you need to be visible, and you need to be there to develop the trust amongst your consumers to buy from you. In the next episodes, I'm going to take a detailed shots towards websites, towards social media, towards product selling, and towards branding. My page will tell you my next topic, whether it's going to be about website engagement or social media engagement. Stay tuned and feel free to connect with us at any given point of time for any confusion or anything that you would like to consult with us in relation to marketing and management. Thank you. Signing out.